What it do, good people? Welcome back to the Daniel Diagnosis. I am your host, Keith Daniel. I hope since the last time we talked that everybody out there has been safe, productive, and blessed. Um, Fantastic show lined up for you today. Going back to what brought you here in the first place, the diagnosing of the Rod Hayes videos. Salute to the Chief Rod Hayes, Sick Ape himself. You can follow him on Instagram at Sick Ape, SIK, capital APE. He goes in. However, I do understand that when he's going in, there's a lot of people that he over their heads. And even though he break it down so eloquently, if you don't have certain understanding as far as how everything's out here moving and operating, then you're going to have difficulty connecting the dots and following along in this story. I mean, the most important part that you need to understand is that it's up now. You know what I mean? It's up and it's stuck there. You know, however, in order to move properly, it's very important that we all understand at the frequency level that we resonate at. You see what I'm saying? Point blank period. So therefore, as a collective, we can move forward. So with that being said, we're going to get into this video. I haven't listened to it yet. Again, this is a diagnosing video. Therefore, I will be stopping and I will be putting my 2 cents in. This is an intellectual channel, meaning that if you don't have the intellectual capacity to entertain a thought without accepting it, this might not be for you. All right? Point blank, period. And as Socrates says, well, one of his favorite sayings, I know that I'm smart enough to know that I don't know anything. We all learning every day. You know, we're all learning. Sometimes we could be the teacher. Sometimes we can be the student. But we're all learning. With that being said, man, let's get into this video. Again, this is the Big Chief, Rod Hayes. Now, this is a quote that he has on the beginning of the video from Dolores Cannon. And it says, "The Earth School is the most difficult in the universe. Only the bravest souls sign on for this assignment." Hell of a statement. All right, let's rock and roll.
This is a 11:55, which is initiate a turnaround off of 55 flip 52, 22 on the mirror flip, which makes it 22 flip 77, raised by 2 masters on a knock to a knockback. So this is a public service announcement for UAW workers. The public service announcement is predicated up on some work that I done 4 years ago before the last UAW workers negotiation. Now, I had a game of corporate chess with the CEOs of the big 3. I won. And in winning that, they got to get a worker everything I said, but we had ran into a problem on the international negotiating teams. These international negotiators, well, they call them the international, and they the negotiating committee for the worker. And I put them on notice for the appearance of propriety. Some of y'all that have been with me for a long time or went back and watched my rants on the UAW and the big 3 negotiating for 4.5 years ago about the same time. And I put into action a couple of things for the worker. As one of the chiefs that's going to be part of the continuity of government, I put in a complaint with the It's in the public domain, and it was giving the instructions to the Labor Review Board in D.C., which is now a defunct committee. It doesn't exist anymore. And my complaint was the fact that there was ongoing indictments of United Auto Workers leadership at the time of the negotiations, which spoiled the negotiation. They supposed to maintain the appearance of propriety if they were known to be under investigation for criminal activity and they were serving indictments. The worker cannot trust anybody in that committee until the investigation is done. So I complained. And what that did was put it in a complaint about the past practices of the corrupt corporate system taking advantage of workers, right? By doing that, once the government fall, the worker is going to have the opportunity to organize the UAW to actually purchase the big three as a stock option ownership of the company. Like, you literally going to be owning the company you work for. This is why they can't give you anything. They've been seized. All the major corporations in America has been seized for ongoing corporate fraud, defrauding the workers out of billions and billions of dollars just in the last 50 years alone. So when the continuity of government was activated by Trump and they had that complaint and they sat there and watched these motherfuckers sign a contract knowing that they were under a federal investigation by the FBI. They knew it. It was not a secret. This was all going on in the public during the negotiations of a contract which breached the trust of the worker. So now what happened? Now the chief seized the property for the fraud. Once they continue to negotiate in bad faith, knowing they was under investigation, they surrendered their right to negotiate. So now what we're looking at is, it's not really, the company can't give you nothing because the big three can't negotiate right now. The company's been seized. They just not telling the workers. All corporate assets, what we call Fortune 500 companies. Why you think Rupert Murdoch stepped down? He bankrupt now. He's finna go probably dive off of a real high bridge with a real short rope.
Hey, y'all, I don't know, but it makes sense to me. I've been saying it. Like, what's going on with Hollywood? Just think about this now. What's going on with Hollywood, man? Think about all your major artists. Why they ain't dropping no music, man? What's really going on? Like, something's up. Like, to me, like, ain't no revenue being accumulated. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I understand what he's saying as far as with the auto workers. How we gonna enter into negotiations on anything when you under investigation for pretty much the same shit that we finna sit here and negotiate? That's in bad faith, period. So, I don't know, y'all. It seems to me like if you just open your eyes and look, but shit's changing.
And bungee jump by his neck. That's if he even still really breathing. He might already be food for the fishes. But in the process of protecting the interests of the people, all I had to do was put it on the public record as a public complaint. So I put the public complaint out there because I know that this is about to close in for continuity of government. And then they're going to run this whole campaign of Biden fiasco. And then from there, the people not going to even be paying attention while everything is being restructured in the background. It came with a false prophecies. They misinformed prophets who was channeling without being properly instructed on how to really translate what they reading to regular people, so they only see the doom and the gloom because they didn't ever flip that shit.
Right.
They didn't ever flip that shit. As above, so below. When the spirit realm show you something, you have to learn your inner language so you can know how to flip the message, because if you don't, when you looking, you're gonna see what look like gloom and doom.
Yup.
I don't see no gloom and doom.
Yup.
Only thing.
Well, I'm sorry I got to cut him off right there, but he absolutely right. Like, it's all about perception. It's all, your perception is your reality. Like, you can look at a glass half empty or a glass half full. It's on you how you look at it. So this thing that we call life, that we all experiencing, our consciousness projects this now. Your thoughts are your reality. So your consciousness projects things. Whether it's things that you know you need to work on or it's things that you want to have. It projects what it's going to be. So if you looking at the government shutdown, everything they throwing at us, this, that, and the third is negative, that's what you're going to see, doom and gloom. But if you looking at it as a reset point, a point to where you can get in here and you can, do your thing. Oh, man, sky's the limit.
I see is a scripted event signed in soul contracts where a bunch of kids leave on the same day. And the only thing I can tell you is take your babies out of school, because unless they got one of them contracts, you probably won't listen to me if they do, because these schools, this is what they finna do. The system is trying to force the parent now to pull their children out of school. The beginning of corporate shutdown is already underway, because you see that GM, Chrysler even changed their name. They new name in all caps, Stellaris. Right? Homonym, still Atlantis, motherfuckers. And what we looking at is a hostile takeover by the outlaw tribes, by a certain oral tradition of the people, to override the corporate jurisdiction of the legal fiction. Once we did that, all we have to do is fight for what's right and tell the truth. And the rest of the chiefs will sign off and say he right. Let's make this happen on the backside of the flip.
Shit, boy, listen. This man I'm sitting here download while he regurgitating it. And all this shit just clicked to me. Bro, this is just what this is. So you got to have the right people in the right places. And now I'm just looking at things and I'm like, okay, I know a certain lawyer over here. He a bad man. Now I'm understanding the processes it takes for the ascension to Crown Chakra and what you have to go through in order for that switch to flip. So now the switch is flipped. That's why I've been on a hiatus, y'all. I had to get to a point. You see what I'm saying? Like once you it's just like coaching. You got to pull somebody, sit them on the bench, let them get their mind right before you put them back out there in the game. See what I'm saying? So now I'm looking at all this and what he just said as far as this legal fiction and proving it to exist and calling them out on it and doing everything that you need to do in the public domain because it's about we the people. You feel what I'm saying? We control the government. Government don't control us. And think about it. You got a lot of people in the right place that know how to govern themselves now. So the way we may be looking at things, and I go everywhere I go, I hear, especially from my elders, that's not really in tune or tapped in with what's going on. What happens? Oh, boy, they just messing up everything, man. I can't trust this. You can't trust that. And the way they saying it, you can tell it's a negative connotation behind what they're saying. They got a negative feeling. It's like, it's doom and gloom for them. And in my head, I'm like, shoot, man, you just don't know. Certain things that you think are actually running ain't even open no more. If you do, it's certain things that you do, and I ain't gonna go too deep because, It's a game. We got to play. But if you are abiding by certain rules and regulations, that's on you at that point. There's nothing to enforce it. Nothing. There's no system in place when it comes to a lot of federal shit that they can enforce. I'm a firm believer that your state governor got more power than Biden. I mean, only thing you got to do is look at the past 4 years. Come on, man. Keep it a book. Say what you want. The last time we seen actual presidency in the United States was with Donald J. Trump. We really ain't been able to see what, like, if you grew up in my era, we seen what a president is or how it was supposed to look. We seen the king of the land, if you will. Now, shit. Well, this is kabuki, Japanese theater. Shit, this is soap opera. That's the way it looks to me. Yeah, me and my mama talk about it. She say the same thing. She's 65. So I ain't telling you what to think, but I'm telling you to think. Shoot, we at a time right now, boy. We got to use our mind, and our perception has to change. Got to change from that doom and gloom to hope and glory.
Now, the worker going into a situation where they will be able, they won't be employees no more. Like, imagine that. Like, you always fighting with management. Now, management gonna be working for the people on the floor, and it ain't gonna be the other way around. That's the flip.
How it's supposed to be.
When y'all realize that I already put them on notice. If you go to my Facebook, I'm gonna show y'all what to look for so y'all can read this for yourself.
But that's how
If you
it's
go on
supposed to be.
Facebook, type in corporate chess. Hit the search. I'm glad I'm going in on my backup page too. Go to post. Then go to post from on the setting on the right of the space bar. And then type in my name, Rod Hayes, RODHAYES.
Rod spelled the whole instruction out for you.
Yeah.
Hey, Rod gave you specific instructions on how to find exactly what you looking for on Facebook with the backslashes and all. And he's so methodical with it, he really took his time. Shit, Rod, hey.
And then show results. I'm gonna put this right here and flip this camera so y'all can show y'all what y'all looking at. This is why they can't get no contract right now. How do I flip this motherfucking camera? There we go. This is the post you looking for. UAW, greatest win in U.S. history. Thank you, POTUS. Corporate chess. How about corporate chess checkmate? This the post. Look. This is explaining it all. These is the steps. 10 moves to checkmate.
Oh, shit. Kicking me out. Yeah, I see exactly where he coming from. Because even though you can listen to what he's saying, right? And you can apply it to, you can listen to what he's saying and you can apply it.
Right.
You can apply it to not only the labor union or the United Auto Workers, but you can apply it to real life. What do I mean by that? If we are going to go to a new age and be successful in this new age. We got to go from an authoritarian standpoint to more of a true democratic republic for the people, and understand that the people we put in positions, they work for us. We don't, like in management, like he just said, if you got the right managers up there, the managers that have the wherewithal, the knowledge base, and the responsibility to hold down their position, they gonna know that they work for the people. They're trying to manage this situation to where it benefits all, not just one group of somebody, but it benefits all. Now, if we can go to politics, the leaders that we put in place to be the governance of our communities have to be people that are doing it for the people, not for some agenda, not for personal gain, but for the people.
All of this stuff, these is receipts. These blue bars is receipts. They show you each part, right? So what am I doing? Right? First, know what you have to do. Invalidate the negotiation by exposing the corruption. Announce discovery. That's that post. 2. Use the discovery to issue a cease and desist order in the public domain. That's that one. Identify my allies on who is opposed to the bad negotiation practices. That's done right there. Leverage my moves by getting in tune with some very wealthy friends. And that's this post right here. Right? It say inform the people the contract was not valid. Why? And here's that post right here. Right? All this stuff in the public domain. Right? Use political climate to leverage above corporate president would be asked to make an ultimatum. Either get a workers' relief or we take action. This was a link to the White House response. Right? Foresight of upcoming political chess move. Bill for coronavirus was being drafted. Insider exposed information to me. COVID-19 would serve as a smokescreen to leverage presidential powers under upcoming martial law. COVID-19 relief package was introduced a full year before first case. This is how the Trump administration would be sabotaged. Here we go right here. Right? So all it is, say Carter CARES Act introduced March 2019. Right? So now these is all of the 10 moves of corporate chess, and you see that the political arena is fully involved. I'm using a system by using our oral traditions to override everything they doing. This is what you're looking at right here. So when they tell you, look, inform my coworkers, undercover boss, seeking to find workers relief, offer a solution to the issues. Now that's checkmate in 11 moves. All that shit right there. Look, I'm gonna go up here. Look at the date. Go back up to the top. Wait. Look at the date. September the 1st, 2020. 3 years ago. Right? Now this date is after the fact of all of these receipts. All of these receipts had already been things being done in the public domain for the corporate chess. Right? And then all of these are just the chess game. Right? So the word checkmate in chess comes from the Persian phrase shamat, which means the king is defeated. So no matter what happened, I took all their shit over. And they can't negotiate with the worker without me. Because I took all this shit over as one of the chiefs, as a war chief, for defrauding the people. You can't do that to people and think that there ain't gonna never be no consequence and you're gonna indefinitely go on about business as usual. But this ain't business as usual. This a whole new animal. Right? So that's the post. When y'all go to it, make sure y'all go check it out and share it. If you know people that work for the big three, tell them this is why they ain't getting no motherfucking contract right now. Tell them Chief Pontiac Rod Hayes took over the UAW with the assistance of the CEO of the big three. All three of the CEOs was involved in it. Mary Barra was the lead. They tired of people. They all come from blue collar, working class auto workers, right? So we had a representative on the UAW side who was fighting for the interests of the worker. Her name was it'll come to me, Cindy Estrada, and she was in what we call one of Big Mama's girls clubs. We know this because they all have, in any bio, it's going to tell you what they fight for as their life purpose. They're going to have a little paragraph, and it's going to tell you what they dedicate their life to fighting for. So that means no matter what you see them doing, everything they doing is for this purpose, and hers was to protect the interests of the workers. My mama was married to my father. He was an auto worker, and he retired for medical reasons back in 2000. In her grievance, I had to go in as an auto worker. That's how I had to do the undercover boss thing before I take it over. I had to go in and find out what's wrong. Well, it's real simple what's wrong. Management don't got no respect for the workers. And corporate have no respect for anything but corporate greed. Where the International Negotiating Committee is trying to get in on the corporate greed by using their positions as negotiators to leverage people out of proper compensation for their labor. Right? They don't even know how the labor is calculated in corporate. Right? So if you don't know how the labor is even calculated, how in the fuck is you gonna fight for me to get my proper compensation? So for every dollar that the worker deserved, they was getting paid sharecropper portions of it and didn't even know it. Then this is the part that's gonna blow everybody back. They said they stopped pensions. No. When they stopped giving the pension to the worker, they kept that motherfucker for themselves. This is what they didn't tell you. It's called a secret pension fund. And what the secret pension fund is, anybody that retire, instead of them collecting the pension, it goes into upper management coffers in order for them to have petty cash to make their international trips. They was living off the retirement of the recentest retirees who didn't have a pension program because they was getting this newly 401k shit. Right? So they was frauding the people the whole time. Like, we ain't gonna never figure this shit out. Been stealing from the worker the whole time. Look, the corporate America work hand in hand with political America. Political.
I was just in here thinking that, man. See, everything he break it down, I'm listening to his story, right? And I know it's applying to the United Auto Workers and their situation, right? But damn, man, that's just how the world works. Period. Period. like, think about it. For a company, right? Let's say a company offers a 401k, and they know that the average worker gonna be here for the next 30, 40 years. You see what I'm saying? That they ain't got to wait. They can't look. The payout ain't for 30 years later. What you think they doing with all the money they accumulate? They'll worry about paying you when they get there. You see what I'm saying? And let's just say the company go bankrupt. Well, you stuck like Chuck anyway. You see what like that's real corporate shit. Like straight up. That's just how it go. Like corporate America, boy. Like boy, they play a mean game. A mean game, bro.
America works for financial interests from overseas. Political America is the ones who pass the legislation to increase things that causes the inflation to go up to make the value of the dollar go down at the beck and call of international bankers using fractional reserve banking and inflation as a way to slowly eat away the workers' wealth. They don't want you to be independent. Look, nobody shouldn't have to work 12 months out the year. Facts. That's not normal.
Facts. It's crazy.
You work
man.
Seasonal jobs according to your tribal heritage, right? Like some people love being out in the snow. Some people can't stand that shit.
Yep.
The people that love being out in the snow is the ones who do the snow removal in the winter. Them the ones that you call in to, work the power lines in the winter. It's seasonal. Humans are seasonal working creatures. Some of us in the wintertime go through what's called seasonal affective depression, which is your natural instinct to want to hibernate, but because you living in two worlds at the same time, the physical body can't hibernate. For you to go back up there and do your other shit before you come back down and do this shit again. So since the physical body can't hibernate, it keeps you attached to the physical realm, and that's why you think this 3D shit more real than the real shit. But when you experience the real shit, you be like, what the fuck? I thought that shit was real. Then you realize this 3D shit not real. Whatever the fuck this shit is, I got a lot of explanations. I'm looking at a holographic projection using the Dark Knight satellite and the moon, and it's starting to look like the moon is actually the lens projector projecting the 3D imagery onto the earth. Now,
I don't know, but I will say this: that moon's something different, and certain people see it, certain people don't. Man, I was standing in my door, I had my door open here. I was in the cave one night, so had the door open, just trying to air it out or whatnot. And I like the stargaze. I look at the stars at night. You see what I'm saying? I really do. I like it. It's calming, it's peaceful to me. So I was just looking up in the sky, and the moon was positioned right above my house, like at the crown of my house, right? And I swear, I don't suppose to swear, but look, bro, the moon started like lighting up, like it was charging, like a battery charging on the crescent of it. Just how my hand moving right now, that's how it went. Like it was a light just going up and coming down, going up, coming down. Now I pay attention to the sky to make sure ain't no clouds around, and that's obscuring my vision because it could sometimes the clouds can make an optical illusion. Now that wasn't the case. I know what I was seeing. You see what I'm saying? Like straight up. I always see weird shit, but that was the first time I ever saw the moon actually do something weird. It really appeared to move to me. It moved in a way too fast than it was supposed to move to a different position. Now y'all can say I was tripping, you can say I was high, you can say I was drunk, you can say whatever you want to say, but I know what my eyes saw. And I ain't the only one. I know a lot of people out there done seen the moon or some crazy shit in the sky. Like, just don't have the gumption to get out here and tell it to the public. But I know what I saw. Shit.
if this is true, that means all they got to do is change the programming of the projector, and it'll change our perception of the events on the earth without ever actually coming down here to do shit. Like, they don't really need HARP if we in the 3D hologram. All they need to change is the computer code from the hologram. And then it's going to run a different simulation through there. And that next simulation comes in, and it make you think that it's really some shit happening that's not happening. So, like, the good thing is now, with the access of this military-based communication system called the internet, most of us don't know this shit military than a motherfucker. It was always under the control of the military, specifically the U.S. military, but then it expanded out and became a network using spy rings to transport information around the world.
Say what now? Wait. Oh, boy. Hey, he blew my mind then. It ain't often that he just showed up blow my mind. But he just confirmed some shit that I've been thinking for a while now, boy. Like, only thing you got to do is just pay attention to the what is allowed from your, let's say you got a good following, right? And you know more people than that. It should be more people looking at your post than you have actually looking at your post according to the likes and things you get. You see what I'm saying? Now, who's behind all of it? Who's behind controlling that? See, we think it's AI and it's an algorithm and things of that nature. I don't think so. Like, you got people enlisting and going into the military all the time. Where are all these soldiers going? Where they working at? What are they, like, for real? I ain't saying that this is the case, but it makes you think. All these civilian outfits that the military got working for them. Like, just straight up. And if you thinking, like, seriously, it's a battle for your mind, this is ground zero, the internet. You see what I'm saying? If it's a battle for your mind, ground zero is the internet. And now we're bombarded with information. Oh my God, boy. He just, hey man, hit the like button. Look, hit the share button, hit the subscription button, man. Chi dropped the jewel in, boy, and I put it together, boy. I ain't lying, man. We looking at Voltron right now. Yeah.
Now we think because we change our privacy settings that this shit's still not military information gathering. Why do you think the algorithm is so important? The algorithm is so important because when these motherfuckers know where your man at, they know what to blow up next to get your attention away. But when you start going through that, that poker face shit that Gaga was telling you about, you can't let them see what's on your poker face. Right? Kenny Rogers say you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run, motherfucker.
Yep.
But some of us, we supposed to be running and we standing there looking down the barrel of the motherfucking gun that's about to take our motherfucking existence out the 3D realm. Well, the moon is, it's some strange shit. The moon is not normal. I know there wasn't no moon when I was here a couple of times ago. Then I popped up in this moon shit here, and I got clear memories of one of the moons of Saturn. Is it Saturn? The great judge. Yeah, Saturn, Jupiter the gift giver. One of the moons of Saturn is called Lilith, and it used to cause the night sky of Earth to be fluorescent like you under a black light in the disco hall. When that shit first came out and they put them black lights in there, I had a fucking aha moment that scared the bejesus out of me because I did not understand at that time what the fuck just happened to me. It gave me a whole Lilith night memory flashback where the sisters was like these white gowns they wear, you know how white look under the black light, that shit glow up. And I'm looking at the little place I'm in, and it ain't no ways near as big as this shit that I'm seeing. And I'm like, far as I can see, these sisters is doing the whirling dervish dance. And it's like hundreds of them. And that fluorescent Lilith moon light them up, and then it starts sending these circular spirals of light up off of the fucking dress while they spinning. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? It took me years to realize that they don't do that on Earth no more. Like, what the fuck? That shit was intense. Because those women that was doing that dance was also in tune with their full feminine quality, the highest aspects of the femininity. And so when they was doing it, they was able to alter the entire frequency of the planet in a day. We don't like the way this shit going. Sister, let's get together. Let's go out here and dance in the night. That's what the whole dancing in the moon shit came from. The moon wasn't fucking there. It's something with this motherfucking moon shit. These sisters learn how to use this shit because it was put up there to take their ability to regulate their menstrual cycle away from them so that it be forced. So now women don't have babies because they choose to. They have babies when the moon tell them to. That's not fair. This why you got abortion.
Hey, like, this the second time, maybe third time I done heard that same concept. Like the moon, it throws the women off. I done heard that concept before. I don't know if it's true or false. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm listening, but I've heard that concept. I know the moon mess with me, just energy wise. I get weird as fuck in the full moon. You know what I mean? I'm very agitated. Like my senses are heightened. Like I have to watch myself. You see what I'm saying? Like, cause I know myself now. You see what I'm saying? Like during the crescent moon or first moon, you see what I'm saying? Like, or new moon, however you want to put it. I guess I'm speaking right. You just talk about when it ain't nothing but the little crescent. I'm alright. You know what I mean? I'm alright. But as the moon wanes towards a full moon, shit, yeah. I have to watch myself. That moon, it's something with that moon. I agree with Rod though. It's something ain't right. And then you don't see nothing but the one side of it. So if it's a sphere, literally, why we can't see the other side? It don't spin at all. That motherfucker just there. Like it's something else. It's different. It don't seem natural to me. But I'm not even finna speculate. Shit.
Now, that's not normal. You know I'm supposed to go in no woman's uterus while God working and crafting some shit and slap the motherfucking plate off the table? That's not normal. But it became normalized in an abnormal world where everything is upside down and backwards. Now, when we look at it, it seems like, what's the big deal? It's just an abortion. That soul coming back. If you die, motherfucker, you coming back to bring that soul back through you because you supposed to did it the last time and you ain't learned your lesson yet. And that carry karmic debt with it that weighs heavy on the soul. That's why I don't get in no woman way. You gonna do that shit? Do you don't understand the karmic debt you incur by cutting off Big Mama's creation in the process when there's nothing wrong with it? Now it's like they create birth defects in these women now. So now when they doing it for birth defects, like, but some people's this crazy. I was in maybe 7th grade, and there was a girl in a wheelchair. To everybody else in the building, she just looked like she had the palsy. But when she looked at me and we caught eye contact, she told me telepathically she had to, only way they would let her into the earth realm to experience life in the 3D, they had to give her a broken body so that she wouldn't be too powerful and fuck the simulation up or the program up. And I'm looking like, what the fuck is this? I don't know nothing about telepathy at the time, but I'm looking at the little girl. She look at me right in the eye. She look at me and she you know how they do when they had a palsy, but she locked her gaze, and I'm like scared to fucking death because I have no frame of reference for what I'm experiencing, nobody to talk to but my mama. And this was so scary to me, I never talked to my mama about it because I don't get scared easy. But it wasn't like a fearful scared, it was more like a confusion that had a tinge of fear laced in it. Like, I ain't never been this confused before, so how do I figure out what the hell going on? So a lot of highly evolved beings come in distorted bodies so they won't fuck up the system. I'm like, holy shit.
That shit makes sense, boy.
And mama said everything got a purpose, even if you don't know what it is.
That shit makes sense,
Everything got a purpose, even if you don't know what it is.
That shit makes sense. I ain't lying, boy. The most powerful beings, it would make sense for them to come in with broken down bodies in situations like that. Because if they was at full capacity, they'll be too damn powerful. That makes sense, because I've always thought to myself, like, what? How is this possible? Or why does that have to be that way? If we're all created equal, why do some people come here with, certain defects and things of that nature? Why? But if you look at it from the glass half full aspect of it, that makes a whole lot of damn sense. A whole lot. Just think about it. Their mental capacity or spiritual capacity, what they bring to this realm, is so powerful to where they got to be in a subdued situation in order to have this experience. Wow.
So now my shit, well, how the fuck do I find out what it is? Study. And she used to always quote some Bible verse that I used to hate to hear when she would say, well, you smart, you'll figure it out. Study yourself to show yourself approved. And I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about in these riddles? Always telling me these riddles and codes and shit. Tell me something what I need to fucking do so I can just go do it like Pops do. Mama's teaching wisdom. Pops teaching knowledge and understanding. How to stand up like a man. Mama teaching you how to fight spiritual warfare in the midst of being a man in the physical world. I'm like, why in the fuck is they got my brains fucked up like this? They hadn't synchronized yet. So it was all shit going all crazy, different ways and shit. But then I started to see clear. Got a lot of motherfuckers fooled. This shit ain't over, but it's about to culminate into a finale. Look, I'm gonna just throw a couple codes out there. You know the emergency broadcast from whoever the fuck is sending it is on 10-4. 10-4 is a trucker flip. This is a truckers union flip, right? So don't think. Now, it's at 222 on 10-4. 222 means 2 raises the level of something. In this particular case, they sounded an alarm. It's supposed to be a all devices alarm, which is a total alarm. 10-4 is a confirmation on CB lingo from a trucker, right? 10-4-23 equals 19 is the sacred seal and the Shriner's knot, right? So now we're looking at a sacred seal on a 10-4, good buddy, breaker 19, open up the channel, right? Breaker 19, open up the channel. So the channel now open. Hey, come through breaker 19. What channel you on? Right? Log off Teddy Bear. We rolling over to a 4-corner square. So we go to channel 4 now. Click, click, click. So we CB talking. CB is shit.
This nigga going in, boy.
I forgot what
See,
CB
going
stands
in,
for,
boy.
but it was I think it's like some like communications band or bandwidths or something. But anyway, the CB lingo of the truckers, when the truckers union is not supposed to move when the chiefs say stop. They're the only ones that the natives can shut down by telling their union, shut it down. Because they chartered by the natives, by the non-contract tribes. See, the truckers had a brotherhood too. They was transporters of merchandise for Big Mama going back before Columbus ever got here. Back then, we used different means of transportation, but they were still truckers. Right? Modern day bikers is Viking nomads who got a charter. It's called a Mother Charter 13. That's a Queen Mother seat. That's Big Mama giving them a charter to roam the land as nomads as long as they keep civilians out their business and they stay out of the way of the civilians. They supposed to have freedom to do their life. Our rule on the land is your own vine and fig tree. That means if somebody come over here and give one of the chiefs a book and say, this is the greatest book that the world has ever seen, and we want you to use this book to teach your people, he ain't never supposed to teach that shit the same way them motherfuckers teach it. Because that's how we got trapped with that Bible shit, with that Quran shit, and that Torah shit. Elijah Muhammad did it exactly right. He did it exactly right. He took the Quran and the Bible that they came over here with, and he taught it under his own vine and fig tree that produced functional fruits to go out and capitalize on their own vine and fig tree using the same pattern but a different motherfucking book.
Boom. That's the only thing I've been saying, bro. Like, you can't take that shit literally. You gotta, it's the ruling God of faith. No matter where you went, yeah, this is the land of the way. Some call it Christianity, I like to call it the way. You can't take that book and then give it to our people in a way to where they're gonna actually gravitate to it the way that these folks did. No. You see what I'm saying? You gotta take that, go in there, get the inner teaching, and teach it in a way to your people that it's gonna gravitate to them. And they gonna turn around and you can use that information to become successful people, spiritually and physically. Appreciate that, big dog.
So now you look around and you see more potential leaders, but they all scared to act. COINTELPRO got niggas terrified to be the leader of any motherfucker that look like us.
Mm-hmm.
That's that COINTELPRO, a bad motherfucker.
Bad motherfucker. I ain't gonna sit here and lie, bro. Like, straight up. This shit's scary. You see what I'm saying? If you really want, like, that's another reason why I just had to fall back and be like, whoa, boy. Because the more I start to understand, I understand that, man, this shit get deep. Like, boy, like, bro, like, if you only really understood, it's levels to this shit. And, like, bro, this is the game of the gods. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this, we play for meats and sweets. We don't win, we don't eat. However, you can't operate in a level of filth out here. It is what it is. If it's work to be done, it's work to be done. If we got a job to do, we got a job to do, and we just got to do it. What's gonna happen anyway, sooner or later. But I don't want to be the person to be like, later on, be like, damn, man, I could have did more. Damn, man, I had all that talent, man. I ain't doing nothing with it. I'm just sitting on the sidelines. I ain't even in the fight. Come on, y'all. Get to it, Rod. Well, I ain't lying. I'm enjoying this breakdown. I gotta go clock in a few. Well, I don't clock in. I call it clocking in, but you know, I gotta go support my other business in a few.
Look, that motherfucking nigga, J. Edgar Hoover, he was a look.
Bad boy.
He might have been a foul motherfucker, but that team that he had put that shit together, them niggas was wicked. And do not believe for 1 minute they some pale-faced Europeans. J. Edgar Hoover was just passing, and then he was out front because he was the lightest of the batch. What the? Anyway, I got a feeling here with this song. I don't want to like. Excuse me, y'all. So that whole onslaught of COINTELPRO, usurping of the leaders, stopping the rise of any potential leader who would incite the masses, it's just one problem. They not gonna never be able to stop no righteous shit from overcoming some bullshit. It's just not gonna happen. Right? You can lock some of us down for most of our life, but one of us gonna figure it out. One of us. It just take one. So I was sitting listening to some music, unwinding after I sent my god babies back home. And Big Mama said, you might as well tell them why they not getting no contract. I was like, them motherfucking UAW motherfuckers ain't listening to me. She said, just tell them anyway. You got to put it in the public anyway in order for it to be actionable. So this was a public service announcement for that. The whole thing is the audacity of leadership is very audacious. And I'm going to tell you what I said before. The audacity of leadership is to dare put your motherfucking shit on the line to fight for a motherfucker that don't know how or can't or won't fight for theyself, and they showing the fuck ain't gonna do it for you. Similarly situated, they not gonna fight for you, but you just do that shit because it's right, and that's how you raised. Right? If you raised right, raised on the straight bump, then you can learn to correct your error ways on your own. You don't need nobody. But when you ain't raised right, you don't got no frame of reference to start building shit on. I got a late start. I didn't even learn how to read till I was in my 20s.
Yeah,
I thought I knew how to read. I
had a pretty early start. I've always been a very intellectual or intelligent person, right? However, I had to go through the trenches so I could understand what had been done firsthand, go through. Came out of that, and then I had to understand the deeper meanings of life. You see what I'm saying? I had to understand the spiritual systems. I had to go through all that shit. You see what I'm saying? Like straight up. And I was raised on the straight bump. I mean, we here now. And I agree with the leader scenario. Being a leader, man, it takes the courage to get out here and be a leader. Folks don't even know what you're doing. Half of them that you're fighting for might be in disagreement with you. That's just how I go. But you can't let that stop you from doing your job. That's what I'm learning. I let that stop me from doing my job. That's why it took me so long to get back in front of the camera and make videos upon other things and other factors. But all of it was self-inflicted. I went to thinking too much. I went to thinking too hard, and I got caught up in it, lost in the sauce. Now I'm just in a constant download. That's why it's important for you to ground yourself on this journey. To take time off, to get back to where you need to be at. because the rabbit hole is deep. And as far as I can see, there's no bottom. We in a free fall. So learn how to slow down the fall. You feel what I'm saying? You know, with that, let me digress and let Roy finish up.
You call the functional illiterate. I used to go through and I could read like a paragraph, but my words, sentences start crossing the more I start reading because my eyes, my optic nerves weren't conditioned to scanning the page, right to left. And at the time, I didn't know nothing about no other languages. So I had to learn this English shit. Then, here goes something else I gotta tell y'all. Pay attention to that Chrysler, all caps, new name, right? Now, in ancient Kemet, we didn't have lowercase letters. That's a Europeanized adaptation of Semitic languages by creating upper and lowercase lettering. In Kemet, every word that would be written in block form was an acronym. That's why they always had to be capital, because every word in the original Hebrew Bible is an acronym for some more shit. Like every letter in the Hebrew language is a whole story unto itself. And when you don't grow up knowing that shit, you won't never know the rest of the story. You always be left in the void. Right. So that's where we were. So I had to go back. I had to do all this linguistic research shit, looking for patterns of recognition in order to be able to comprehend how these languages translated, what these words mean in other languages. I never became fluent in them, but I studied them enough to know in the English language, how is this affected in English? Because a lot of English words are Sanskrit, Semitic, and Asian words that's adapted into a codex that was created under the Greek lettering system and then under what's called the Romanized lettering system, which is depending of Latin. The Latin was the dirty Moors language. The Greek was the Hellenistic matriarchal language of ancient Greece. So when we're looking at this stuff, we're not taking none of that into account in anything we study. Like the origins of this shit is important, but only certain people that's a stickler for detail ask detailed questions. I don't say nothing. I'm going to observe how a thing works, and then I'm going to follow it back to its source. Because when you know how a thing works, you know the nature of the thing that's in it. Some people come in innocent love, right? But some people come with a rotten heart in the false pretense of love concealed by sweet affection. You got to know how to know the difference. That's how we end up in what's called a toxic relationship, right? We end up in a toxic relationship because we can't distinguish good people from bad people based on how they look. The human is the only animal that's both predator and prey at the same time. And it's also the only animal where the predator and the prey is indistinguishable one from the other. And on top of that, predation of the cannibalizing of a species is more prevalent in the humans than any other species of animal on the planet. And there's a lot of animals that'll eat their own species, but they don't really like that shit. Humans are more carnivorously predacious of human flesh. They got more of a taste for human flesh than any other animal on the planet. There's no animal that just naturally say, yeah, I'm going to the city today, grab me a couple of them humans for a snack. There's no animal that does that. Everybody that you know to ever get attacked by an animal was walking in that animal habitat and upset the balance in nature, and nature
Facts.
reacted.
Facts.
Hardly ever do you see something. Look, humans think that they can just continuously kill shit and don't piss off the spirit responsible for stopping you from killing that shit. The lion is represented in every culture by a different spirit of lion that's a badass motherfucker and protects all cats. And then you think that shit cool for you to go out and take your pictures shooting a lion, never knowing that keep doing that. And then all of you innocent bystanders just watching, you onlookers, the sealer, the one who ain't saying nothing, is bad as the dealer, the one doing the dirt. You sit there and watch a motherfucker do dirt and you got the numbers, but you won't say nothing.
Hey, that's real. That's real now. Like straight up. Even when you take it to the animals, like I don't agree with hunting animals, man. Anything that tribes together, you can tell they got consciousness, they got feeling, and you just going out here and kill that for sport. Like straight up, really. Now apply that to human nature. Like if we do each other like that. Man, let me let this man keep on going.
You got the power, but you won't say nothing. And you watching this motherfucker hunt this. You know what nature gonna do? Nature gonna wake up some lions from cubs. Gonna watch one of these motherfuckers kill their mama in the field, and he gonna have a taste for human flesh from that day on. And we so smart, we not gonna even know that we the cause of it. Nature, look, I'm gonna tell you a good story to read. Get the book, Autobiography of a Yogi. And it's the story of the Tiger Swami. You might be able to find online the Tiger Swami story from Autobiography of a Yogi. That's just that one chapter online. But the book, Autobiography of a Yogi, is one of the baddest months I ever read. I knew everything he was talking about, and I had to keep stopping and be like, why in the do I know this shit, right? And it was like so intriguing, and I was being drawn in. I was walking in the streets of India with him and Sri Yukswar. We was going down to see all of the saints in the villages, and he was talking about he was talking about the female yogi that never eats, and I was sitting in there while she was explaining to him, and they was cooking. I was in the room. And that was my first experience of remote viewing before I even knew what it was. At the time, I didn't know it was remote viewing. But I was remote viewing based on his description. He was able to bring me all the way to India from the goddamn penitentiary. And that's some freedom for your ass. Right? So the Tiger Swami, this motherfucker, one of them big burly niggas. And he walk around, he's naturally muscular. And he just be pounding them tigers to death. He could go fight a tiger, and they try to find the meaner and meaner tigers. So some prince was like, oh, I'm gonna get a tiger for your ass. And the Tiger Swami said he must have went and found the enraged, incarnate spirit of the tiger god. I almost didn't survive. And that motherfucker could tearing his ass up. The only reason he was able to win because the motherfucking fight or flight kicked in, and he finally figured out how to overcome that tiger, was tearing his ass up. He said, now was the last time I ever wanted to fight a tiger in my life. You know, but nature gonna protect itself. You don't think that sooner or later, if we use the culture and nature to just do what the fuck is right, it might look like evil prevailing for a time, but the bill always comes fucking due. And somebody has to be responsible enough to learn what's necessary in order to collect that motherfucking debt. And I'm here to tell you, I didn't put it all out there. If a motherfucker don't think that I'm competent to come and get y'all shit, y'all can cut me the fuck off. Cause I'm telling you, I stuck foot to these motherfuckers' ass in the last 4 years. I'm talking to y'all, but I'm giving them motherfuckers instructions on how to move.
Now, see, let me tell you something. He just ain't talking about the UAW now. Listen, in my opinion, like I don't know, the way he's saying what he's saying, but Rod's something else. Rod's something different now. Because the last 4 years, he been spot on, cuz. Spot on. Now, again, I know some things he say, he'll go out there with you, and you can entertain the thought, but you ain't accepting everything. I get it. However, bro been on point.
Right? I'm putting it in the public domain. All they got to do is follow it just like I tell it. Right? So, it's so many things, astrological events that's happening at the same fucking time as the motherfucking alarm. That's when my attention got. When the things we do on Earth
get back to that alarm.
Is perfectly timed to some crazy star shit, that's when I know to pay fucking attention. Something about to happen. Something about to happen. I don't know what the fuck it is. But I can tell you when Earth shit and crazy star shit is happening at the same time and they both big deals, that's a fucking big deal. I know that. I can put that together. See, I can read this shit in real time, but if I go too far ahead, it get hazy. It get confusing. So I let the oracles, because I can watch them translate or deliver a message from Big Mama as an oracle message. And I can see everywhere where they didn't learn or where they weren't properly taught by a real reader or priest, they self-taught. And they didn't know enough to know that there's certain little tricks to see clearer what they seeing. So I turn those little nods and fine-tune their message, and I can see further than they explaining. So it allowed me to see deeper into what they explaining. So that opens up psychic pathways, and it's like mentally traveling through a vortex to see some shit. Because when you're looking at it from the mind's eye, it don't look like you looking at it from the naked eye. The whole perception is different.
Yep.
Right? And this psychic shit, I'm telling you, as each new psychic ability turned on, I got quite a few of them. They all scared the shit out of me when they first turned on because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But I'm a quick study. I don't tell people what the fuck I'm looking at, but I know I'm seeing some shit. Because when you try to tell people, they dissuade you from looking at long enough to determine what you see. They don't want you looking at shit too long. They call you an overthinker because you thinking over their motherfucking head.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
Look, while Albert Einstein is working on the theory of splitting the atom, I never heard nobody say he was in there overthinking. He raised his level of thought to be able to write a mathematical formula that's explaining how to split an atom. But the regular person that's trying to figure out what Einstein's seeing when he's writing this formula for splitting the atom, try to talk to his homeboy, and his homeboy said, man, you thinking too deep into that shit, man. You gonna get a headache. Yeah, that's called creating new neural pathways, motherfucker. That's why you get a headache. That's a good thing. Believe me, I done went through the scorchers of them.
Yeah, you talking about,
right?
Bro.
Tesla was he was from Venus. He wasn't no Earth motherfucker. But anyway, Tesla would see an invention in his mind's eye, right? And he would focus so intently on, he could take it apart in his mind's eye. And he can see where anybody that else looking at it would possibly make an error. In his mind's eye, he can correct the error so that the machine run the way it's supposed to run. If he make a mistake in his mind's eye, he can correct it before he produce it. Therefore, it is produced without the defect. And this is called holographic mental imagery. And you able to use this, but it's called having crystal lenses in which to look through. You're looking through a spectrum of light that's honed in through a crystal that's putting a projection on the inside of the crystal. This is the primer for beginning the function of using your holographic mind matrix and using it as a projector to see images. Children do it naturally, but we teach them not to do it because we make up all of this shit to build their ego. We have to build them an ego to function in the current society, even if we don't know it. So
I'm gonna tell you what Rod just explained. Because again, like I tell you, sometimes he gonna talking to you like we in calculus or trigonometry or some shit. But what he just explained was imagination. Some of us have extremely wild imaginations to where we can envision just from thought a whole village or a whole world where we know how the roads are, we know how the buildings gonna be built. We can really see this and envision that in a holographic way. You can't see what we see. That's why we're visionaries. That's why we're creators. You see what I'm saying? Like, all of us can be visionaries and all of us do create to some extent. But when it just comes to taking something or creating something from nothing, like, the best of them have a very, very unique imagination. And they can see exactly what they're building. Now, again, there is going to be some trial and error in some spaces. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nobody going to bat 1,000. However, when it comes to the overall completion of the project, they seen that from the get-go. So basically, they were looking into the future, already understanding what it is that they're trying to build. And then they back engineered it in a way to where they understood what all had to be in that in order to make it thrive and be successful. You want to create a world. That's the end project. All right, so what is this world? What compromise? What is in this world? What does this world in detail? What does it take to complete this world? And that's how you back engineer, and you come all the way back to source. And then it's, all right, on the 7th day you can rest. You feel what I'm saying?
It's because the humans is pack animals. So we have to know how to survive amongst the pack of animals that's roaming the land. And when they not from here, like, I can spot a motherfucker that ain't from America walking down the street. I was locked up with one of my best buddies. He from the Mindi tribe in Sierra Leone. The first day I seen him, I said, that nigga ain't from over here. Where he from? And everybody bust out laughing. They was just like, he African. I said, he ain't one of us. He cool. I mean, I don't got no problem with him, but he ain't from over here. And then when I got to talking to him, we got to talking, and I was explaining to him, like, man, I know you ain't from over here. You don't got none of the energy these niggas over here got. You totally out of place to me. And then we end up chopping the game up, hitting it off, being real tight. Real jam. Yeah. I'm not going to take no callers tonight. I had to get that public message out and let these motherfuckers see why ain't no contracts moving. They going to come up with some fake shit. But all that shit been seized. All that shit part of the continuity of government resource reallocation program. And it's going to allow the worker in the near future to have the opportunity to own the companies that we call the big three.
What do you mean by that is you're going to be able to buy stock in the company. Don't that make a whole lot more sense? You know, you got some companies that offer that right now. You see what I'm saying? You can buy stock into the company, so therefore you own the company. You see what I'm saying? However, a lot of companies didn't offer it, or if they did offer it, they just offered it in a way to make it sound like it's something great, but you weren't even getting pennies on the dollar at the end of the day. While the big owners, they got all the major shares and things of that nature. So
probably merge into one united auto workers across the land type deal where it's a family tradition to work there, and you get your stock options and retirement options all set up by motherfuckers that work and got the same vested interest you do. When you take that kind of bullshit out the game, that's how you win. Just don't deal with the people. Address the bullshit in the public domain. It has to be answered. You gotta find the answer when it come up if you ain't keeping track. But that's why most of us don't use these tribal methods no more, is because you have to be very observant to political climates and different things of what's going on across the land. Like when I was doing
this shit genius, man. Like
thing with AI today.
This shit genius, man.
And I was asking
the tribal just doing it publicly, like, bro, this shit is fucking genius. Like, I just take my hat off and salute. That's all. I ain't lying, bro. Like, my bad it took so long. I just got lost in the sauce, but boy, this shit here is phenomenal.
About non-treaty tribes strategies to fend off colonizers. And one of the things it said was that we would financially assault their finances. And I'm like, ain't that something? Because when I started telling the OGs was asking me in Cali what to do, organize first, then hit them motherfuckers in the pockets. Hit them in the pockets everywhere they turn. Make insurance companies pay absorbent amount of money, and them motherfuckers gonna bag out. All of them gonna bag up. Because out of everybody, the insurance companies hate to pay the most. And the consumer or the business person, I should say the proprietor, if he doesn't have any insurance, he can't replace the lost stock. This is exactly the reverse of what they did at us with the sharecropping shit. See, they would come in and burn our crops, but they wasn't burning the crops just to burn the crops or to be racist. That was strategic. You burn the crops. Now the sharecropper can't pay on the loan that he was tricked into in this sharecropping agreement, and you can foreclose on the land. Burn that motherfucking nigga fields up. First chance you get. Hell yeah. So we can run him up out of here. And he ended up working at a factory in fucking Indiana or Michigan, some goddamn where, because he done got motherfucking shenandoed out of his motherfucking property that he had in his family for a fucking 1,000 years or more. And they telling him, you can't pay this sharecrop agreement, motherfucker. You got to get off my land. And then they going to bring in the whole fucking state police force from every fucking division to run you off your shit. And it's just you and your babies and probably the old lady. And you like, what the fuck just happened? I never seen that coming. My great-grandmama lived in this house. And her great-grandmama lived in this house. And all of a sudden, we got to leave? What the fuck kind of shit is this?
I've been saying it for forever. Paper genocide. That's how they got us. They got us with pen and goddamn paper, bro. They pencil whooped the shit out of our ass. The whip ain't do nothing compared to the fucking pen.
This is not normal to us. We don't know nothing about people being displaced. Where in the fuck that shit come from? like displaced people. How do you displace people? Mama say you can't throw people away like trash. That's the dumbest shit in the world. Just gonna throw somebody away. Yeah, we done with him. Throw him away. Let's get another one. Yep. That don't even make sense. But see, that was the position. Well, a lot of us don't know. When the Moors in Europe would conquer or would capture POWs, they put them in bondage. The ones that that didn't have enough status in their own community to be ransomed back, was put into bondage as servants and called pets. So now these people have no way of resisting calling paleface pets, right? They have to do it at the close of the age to reveal who they is, right? So the people that they was holding as pets end up with the jurisdiction to punish their ass, and we got caught in that shit because mama said the good had to suffer with the bad until we get this shit straightened out, right? The original motherfuckers that came over here in shackles and chains came from Scotland and Ireland at the hands of the goddamn Dutch, Portuguese, and the French and the Spaniards. That's what them the slaves, the white niggas. That's what they call them. Google it. It's not even hard to find this shit. Like, just Google white niggers and they gonna tell you they was from Ireland. They was the Irish. Them the original niggas. We was negus, Negus. We was them motherfuckers, them serpent kings. But we ain't know nothing about no motherfucking niggardly motherfuckers. We didn't know nothing about that shit. That shit don't got nothing to do with us over here. But we done took on everybody else's filth in order to transmute that shit into something good. We took everybody else's dirt and mixed that shit with our suffering and our blood in order to make it fertile where it was once barren. We don't even realize at this point the magnitude of the importance of those people that came over with the genetic defects to get a drop of this native blood from over here. We don't know how important that shit is yet. But these scientists is going to eventually have to come out and tell you. Right? Look, these diet woke niggas, can't none of them tell you why in the fuck is Maman Brigitte in the goddamn Orisha. Where's this motherfucking ginger-haired white girl come from? Why is she in Orisha? And she got juice, baby. She got the juice. She walked with the motherfucking Baron himself. Y'all motherfuckers better watch what's paying attention to what's going on around y'all. Y'all sitting here watching these stage shows because you've been foregoing your spiritual development in order to stay in servitude to a system that was only here to make you serve it.
Woo!
If you want to be of service, serve your family first.
Facts.
Be of service to your loved ones first. That's going to make you worth more to the world around you. Intrinsic value of the self. Make yourself valuable by being useful, not by being misused. You motherfuckers is getting pleasure out of trauma bonds and misuse. You thinking that that's the motherfucking way to get to the motherfucking... That's not going to get you to the bag. Sorry, it's not going to happen.
Nope. That's
Putting yourself deliberately in fucked up positions will never get you to the bag. You will get a payout probably in the next life because you're too busy putting yourself in harm's way in this one to ever change that shit around and get to the payout.
What does he mean? You work all goddamn day for somebody that don't give a damn about you. If you're croak tomorrow, they'll replace you by the end of the week. Facts. You miss all your baby games and things of that nature. You just totally sold out to the system trying to chase a bag, but you not really even knowing that you ain't even getting the bag. You're just being a useful idiot.
Right? So these people told you what they was going to do to you, convinced you to let them do it, and now you fighting to continue to keep them doing what they've been doing the whole time.
Yep.
And the only thing you had to do is divorce the system. Separate from this motherfucker and watch it fall. Leave corporate America stranded. If you work there, you probably gonna own it in the aftermath. Ain't gonna be no poor people because they gave us two choices, the have and the have-nots. We choose to have no have-nots. That's what we choose. We don't want to have no have-nots. Don't make no sense.
Nope.
Look, I ran into one of the bank accounts in the Philippines through tracking back the money through the central banking system. This motherfucker got $385 quadrillion. That's not no motherfucking yesterday money. You talking about old money? That's motherfucking Pharaoh money. $385 quadrillion. Now, at that time, they said it was roughly 4 billion people on the planet, right? And if you gave 4 billion people $1 billion, you wouldn't even dent that 135 quadrillion. You wouldn't even make that motherfucker limp. Like, it would be so minuscule that you won't even realize that money was even taken out of the coffin. That's how much
bread,
money,
bro.
385.
Bro, that's a lot of bread, bro. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. I don't know about the billion, but I know $1 million. I know if you could get everybody on the planet $1 million, and you wouldn't even, the billion he might be on point with that billion. I know $1 million though. Man, that's a lot of bread, man. And we out here just chasing this stick on this carrot on the stick. Boy, it does. I'm saying it just ain't right. Straight up. I've been growing up my whole life, just understanding like, man, something just ain't right. This shit don't supposed to be like this, man. Like, this is life. I came back to this motherfucker to go through this shit. Fuck no, hell no, what? No. We gotta, bruh, come from behind the walls and let your light shine, man. Cause ain't no damn way. You can't sit here and tell me like $385 quadrillion. Well, that's a lot of money out here. What the hell? Why we got homeless people? Why do we have poor people? Damn right. We choose not to have-nots. That don't make no damn sense. That we can't take care of the least of us? The worst off of us? Come on. If we just did that, crime would go down exponentially. We have no need for crime. Like I'm telling you, you can't sit here and tell me that something just ain't right. And we gonna continue to just go along to get along with this shit. Man, please.
Get everybody on earth $1 billion. You can make everybody a billionaire. But guess what? Who gonna work?
Yep.
Who gonna run the place where you like to go get your food from?
Right.
Your McDonald's,
right.
Your Wendy's, your Burger King, your Taco Bell. Who gonna work there? Everybody got $1 billion now. Who gonna serve you? Right? The only way to make any of that shit functional is people gotta get bored. Who gonna drive your motherfucking yacht for you? Your cruise liners for your Carnival cruises. Who gonna be the driver? He got $1 billion too.
Mm-hmm.
And ain't no big eyes and no little U's at this point. It's like we all playing with the same bill ticket.
And see, that's one of the points that I got. Like, we don't understand what makes a system functional. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got to have, it has to be incentives for people to get up and do what they have to do in the world to make this thing go. For me, I'm a janitor. I don't mind that. Like I tell you, shit, I know why I'm here. I'm here to clean this shit up. So in the physical realm, I'm here to clean this shit up too. That's what I do. I see how filthy people can be, but I'm also saying that once they see that somebody's coming behind them and that person really cares and they're doing an excellent job, they start being a little bit more tidy themselves. But regardless of the situation, I got to get out here and do my job. Because if I don't do it, yeah, I can sit here and say somebody else will do it, but what if ain't nobody going to do it? Now, everybody's building's filthy when they come back to work the next day because ain't nobody come behind them and clean up. See, my thing, like, once we figure out, okay, where we at, this is where we at as a people, we understand what done happened to us, my thing is, now what? What are we willing to do? Yeah, you can give everybody reparations or whatnot, but who gonna work? Shit, we just seen what happened a couple of years ago with the PPP shit. You shut down, and the stimulus shit, you shut down the whole goddamn world. Man, for entrepreneurs, like people that had small businesses, man, it was hard trying to find somebody that wanted to work, boy. Shit, you had now hiring signs everywhere. So that's what we have to remember when we talk about the reformation, the regeneration of humanity. Like, how we gonna move forward? See, all this got to be taken into account. I like air conditioning. I like the internet. You see what I'm saying? I like my central heat. Shit, I like my cars. So we gotta remember all these things. Like when we talk about robots on jobs, might not be a bad thing. Especially if everybody gonna be straight anyway. I mean, regardless of how you looking at society, we going that route. We can't continue going the route that we going in. People have to be taken care of. You can't just be kicking people out their house at their point just because they can't pay. Like, somebody do the numbers on eviction rates. I guarantee you that shit down to damn near zero almost. Unless you in the city somewhere. I'm just keeping it above. Like, times are changing. But we have to understand that even though we want things to change for the better, certain things still have to be in place for society to thrive.
Right? We all got Beyonce money, Jay-Z money. Everybody. Okay, now what we gonna do? What are we gonna do in order to continue and uphold a social fabric that's functional when everybody got $1 billion? A baby can go into the candy store and say, I want the whole motherfucking thing. But who gonna be working there? Why would you work in a candy store if you're a billionaire? Why? Right? So what it is you have to give a people a means to rise to their level, and that's where they stay. Right? Oppression only gonna allow you to stay at the bottom as long as you can stand it. Some of us can stand it longer than others. Like me, I don't give a fuck if I don't got nothing. If my people ain't happy, I ain't gonna never be happy. So I don't matter if I got nothing or if I got everything. If my people ain't happy, I'm still not happy. I don't want to be about a bunch of miserable motherfuckers and I got everything, and that's more miserable than them.
I ain't lying, bro.
I got everything in the world I want, but all my people miserable. What? I don't even. That logic is. So it got to be some kind of mechanics in play. And this is why everything is done through priesthoods, because people, and it's a caste system, but it's not a caste by demand. It's a caste by selection, right? People become competent in certain things, make it a family tradition to perform the function for the society, and nobody won't need no goddamn check. We all billionaires. We just doing shit because we need to be doing something. We don't. A lot of motherfuckers think that they don't want to go to work.
I think it's more so purpose at this point. Like, you have people that come here to be doctors. You got people that come here to study law. Like, that's their thing. You see what I'm saying? Like, with entertainers. And I think that it'll be more so to a degree to where you'll be able to do what you like to do. And I think you'll have a little bit more freedom in cultivating that person that you want to be versus being thrown in this systematic prison and forced into modern day slavery that we call employment. You see what I'm saying? Like, as a business owner, it sounds crazy coming from me, but I gotta call a spade a spade. It is what it is, and this is what we got until we can change it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm a fair guy. I think I treat my people right. People don't really complain about me. You know what I mean? They like to see me come around and things. I know that when I turn my back, they may have something to say, but for the most part, I try to take care of my people because I understand the system. But we still got to live in it. But like Rod said, moving forward, we got to have some type of mechanics in play in order to continue to grow and be successful as a whole.
It's not that you don't want to go to work. You don't want to be forced to work somewhere you don't want to be around motherfuckers you don't want to be around doing some shit that you don't want to do.
Yep.
For 8 hours a day, a third of your life.
Yep.
No, that's where the problem is.
Yep.
So instead of laboring for dollars, shit, find you a labor of love. Do something you love to do, and the money is a side effect to that. The wealth is a side effect. When you doing something that you love to do, some motherfuckers, you put them in front of a computer, and that motherfucker light up. And I ain't talking about a computer screen. I'm talking about the open computer. You open that motherfucker up where all of the guts and circuits showing, and these motherfuckers get so goddamn glad they get to work on this shit. They get this excitement and this rush because that's what's in their blood. That's what their program is. That's where their life pleasure is derived from that challenge of developing that product. And they stole that because it's a certain kind of euphoria that comes with doing the labor of love that you can't never get working somewhere you don't want to be, around some motherfuckers you don't want to be around, doing some shit you don't want to do, and not even getting paid the value of the work you putting in.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. So the continuity of government got the whole corporate America seized. The Wall Street been closed. This shit y'all been seeing that they say is trading on Wall Street, it's just a bunch of goddamn numbers on a ticker that make it look like something happening, but ain't none of that shit going on for real. Wall Street was seized at the same time that the Vatican's assets were seized. The International Stock Exchange, where they traded in batch roll birth certificates, and they stole money out of your Social Security account through there. All that shit been seized. And motherfuckers not paying attention. They think Donald J is just business as usual type dude. First of all, he didn't run for this to be business as usual. That's the kind of businessman he is. He's in it because he loves doing business. He don't give a fuck if he hold on to the money or not. As long as he get to make a business transaction and win, or come up with a hard opponent that he got to outwit in a business arena, yeah, that's his heaven. He's living his heaven going up against these motherfuckers after they told him that if he side with these hip-hopping thugs, these motherfucking outlaws, these motherfucking renegades from motherfucking South Bronx, these motherfucking diplomats and these motherfucking what was the Chief War Crazy Horse, I forgot it, Shinnecock motherfuckers. You can't be making no alliances with them motherfuckers. You supposed to be their slumlord. You know that's how he got cool with them all. As he didn't know no better because he started in real estate as a kid. And when he started off, he got all these crackers telling him, all these old pale faces telling him how to exploit us. And he like, what the fuck kind of people is y'all? Right? So he started hanging out with us. He like, fuck them motherfuckers. And then lo and behold, he bumped into Bobby Jr. and Johnny Jr. in there. And he like, what the fuck y'all doing here? Y'all like hip hop too? They say, man, we with the culture all the way. These motherfuckers hanging out with rappers and motherfucking athletes and shit in New York. And y'all don't even know it. Y'all not even reading your own culture to know that where our influence lie, our loyalty, them motherfuckers not gonna betray us. Because they already know what the consequences gonna be. Because how many motherfuckers you done seen fucked up in your neighborhood for crossing the motherfucker out? They know what come with that shit. And we talking about a higher level of chess, a higher game of chess, right? You not finna go in that shit with no half-cocked ass, wanna-be pusillanimous, soft-shoe ass soldiers. You going in that motherfucker with some motherfucking head-busting, chest-pounding gorillas. You want the motherfucking lions and the panthers. I mean, you want the motherfucking wolverines. You don't want no motherfucking butterfly. You want a butterfly to fight for you? Come on, man. We about to go to war. Bring out the butterflies. Butterflies is beautiful, but they not made to go to war. When you go into war with motherfuckers with no mercy. These motherfuckers got no mercy.
Zero.
They don't care how bad we scream. And we trying to go to war with butterflies. We like they telling our boys to be butterflies. So now we finna go to war with butterflies. These motherfuckers is bringing ravenous, disease-infested animals over here to attack us, and we going to war with butterflies. These motherfuckers and caught dragons and trained them motherfuckers, and we going to war with butterflies. Come on, man. Look, I'm all with the totem shit. Butterfly is just a messenger in the spirit realm for the tribes that deliver the messages, right? The monarch butterfly is the one who talked to the chiefs and delivered the chiefs a dope-ass message. But all it is a communication device. If you go to war, you need motherfucking fangs and goddamn claws. You don't need wings that flap around and get caught up in the gust of wind and alter an effect on the other side of the planet 20 years later. No. We need some immediate action, right? Some affirmative immediate action. Some immediate emergency compensatory action. We need some motherfuckers to stand up and be like, hey, you seeing what I'm seeing? Well, what you seeing? They tricking us. I thought that's what you was going to talk about, them tricking us over there. So, do you want them to stop tricking us, or do you want to stay tricked? No, we done getting tricked. Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. So, what do? Flip the table over or just beat their ass? That's where I'm at with it. Flip the table over in front of the goddamn church and whip that motherfucker out, that tax collector out, that motherfucker usury in front of the goddamn synagogue. Beat them motherfuckers down to the corner store. Into that box they crawled out of next to the dumpster. And get that motherfucking pauper guy that's sitting there taking that motherfucker suffering, give him all that motherfucker shit. Give him that motherfucker life. Because that's why he a pauper guy. He can take that shit. This bitch-made motherfucker couldn't take it, so he took it for him. Now everybody got to get what they... Because it's the age of Aquarius. Everything got to be came out to the surface. All of the motherfucking dirty players... It's motherfucking time to pay the fucking piper. The bill always comes due. Good, bad, or indifferent. Everybody gonna get exactly what they earn.
Yep.
And only thing I can tell you is don't fucking lose your man, because if you lose your man, you lose your soul. That's the only way you could lose it. That's the only way you could lose it.
Said something then. Don't lose your mind, boy. And it's crazy because this is a fight for your mind. And it's easy to lose your mind out here, man. It's very easy. So stay grounded. You know, focus on that beacon of light that's in front of you. Keep your eyes on the prize. And please don't lose your mind.
I think I had enough chatterboxing on this. Probably wasn't supposed to be this long, but I done got high and I just started talking. As long as the message got across that them motherfuckers can't get shit.
Oh boy.
Until them motherfuckers say all hail the chief. Until all this shit come full circle. Can't do that to people. You cannot sit there and continuously do wrong to people. And Big Mama don't send one of her boys to figure out who you is, where you at, what the fuck you doing, why the fuck you doing it, and then bump your motherfucking ass straight. So if y'all know any people that work at the factories, that's a good one to share. Them ain't nothing moving. If you ain't gonna treat the people right, look, they ain't even this new negotiating committee, because it's mostly some new motherfuckers. They not all them other motherfuckers and been indicted and took out of there 4 years ago. But these new motherfuckers, they don't know that they didn't even ask for the shit they was willing to give me for the worker. The shit they asked for, pocket change. Pocket change.
Well, look, good people, I'm gonna cut it right there, man. Getting close to that time, I got to move out. Rod kept us busy for at least an hour and 50 minutes, including my dialogue or whatnot. But hopefully you got something out of it, man. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscription button, hit the share button. That means a lot. It helps this page or this channel reach more people so we can get the messaging out there. With that being said, man, I'm not gonna get too wordy. Like I said, I gotta put something on my stomach and go knock out a couple of hours real quick. So, thank you for tuning in. If you made it this far. Until we meet again, good people, I am Keith Daniel. This is the Daniel Diagnosis. Sayonara.